Bendiciones. Blessings, blessings, blessings to all you people out there in the world. I was watching um, Russell Brand. I really like watching him. He talks super fast, so it's like um, you gotta either pay attention or rewind that if you don't, put attention, put attention on it. But he had Ron Paul was giving a warning, and he was talking about a black swan event.
Black swan event is something that you don't see coming. It the name came from like when people only thought that there was white swans, like that's all that existed, and then all of a sudden a black one was born. And so it's a surprising event. But usually in retrospect, you see that, oh man, there were signs all along that you just didn't want to see. So seems like it's a surprise, but then when you look back, you're like, whoa, you know? An example of that would be like the pandemic. A lot of people say that they didn't see it coming, but once they look back, they say, oh, all of the signs were there, but still they didn't see it coming. So it's to be mindful and aware of events going on around. And a lot of people are saying that in of the vaccine, of how people were so accepting of it and lined up to take it, that it was conditioning people to accept this. And they talk about how prophecy-minded people, some prophecy-minded people saw that as the mark of the beast. But others just say that that wasn't the mark, but it was the conditioning for people to accept the mark more willingly. And so people are like Christian people are, some say it was the mark and some say that it was not the mark because it did not fit all the criteria of what the mark of the beast is. So, what do you think?
And he was apparently, like, a lot of people are warning about this, and um, people are like, well, what can you do? What he was saying, like, what's the steps that you could take? Because a lot of people are stocking up. They hear about that and they stock up on food, they stock up on guns. But Ron Paul was saying, that you have to understand. You have to know what's really going on. You have to know. And so he says to study, to get an education about what's going on, go down that rabbit hole and learn about it, and understand about the deep state, and look into the revolving door that has to do with the FDA and Moderna, how they have this is allegedly, what's going on, it's been documented that there's a revolving door between Moderna and the FDA, which the revolving doors, um, meaning like people will go work for one and then go to the other, go work at one, approve something, and then go to the other, and that's like a conflict of interest. So, um, look into that. See about that, and about the deep state. Before you would say deep state, anything about that, and people would right away, it's a conspiracy theory, you know. And nowadays, people are like, well, it's a things are not adding up theory. So you look around, and are we having smaller government? He was talking about that. Like, is the government getting smaller, or are you having seen your liberties being decreased for your safety? It's always for your safety. How they do the problem then they create the solution, which usually has to do with decreased liberties for your safety. So, looking more into the deep state is where he is talking about starting, because the deep state is a threat to our democracy, is what they were talking about. Allegedly, but not allegedly, because the deep state is a threat to our democracy. But again, as they say, is you can't talk about that. Like there's censorship, which also is a threat to our democracy. So in the deep state is destroying America, and the deep state are unelected bureaucrats. They are unelected, and yet they are making all the decisions and all of the, you know, choices choices for the people. They're the ones in the control. So that is what he was talking about, is to get into understanding. And any voice any voice that's out there that is concerned, a concerned voice, if you speak of any concern that you have of this, then it's called a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy theory, and you have to go to like underground places to find the information, or other um, news sources that you have to find that aren't mainstream. You can't even on YouTube, like even before YouTube was considered, like, oh, if you found something on YouTube, they'd be, you got that from YouTube. But now even on YouTube, you can't even, that's like, um, like a safe zone. You can't find stuff there, so you have to go to other places like BitChute, Rumble. There's others that you can go to, but anybody that is on YouTube, they will talk in code. Like there's so many words that they can't say, or like how Russell Brand does is he talks very censored at the beginning of a sample of what it is, and then tells you like, hey, go watch this uncensored version of what I'm talking about on this other channel. And anybody else that's on YouTube that does talk about it freely, they get demonetized. That they'll they let them for to a certain extent, and then once they get the following, then they pull the rug out from under them. It's happened over and over, and I'll watch people that I see that they're talking about stuff, and um, like Squirrel Tribe, and there's like other ones that I've seen before. Well, Alex Jones, everybody knows about Alex Jones one, but others too they'll speak, you know, freely on there. Probably even Peggy Hall, if anybody has seen Peggy Hall. And then all of a sudden, they say the wrong thing, and then bam, they're demonetized. So, um, and like when you hear them, you're like, oh no, they touched on that touchy subject. They said the wrong word, or they said the no words. They're talking about things that we don't talk about, and it's like they're training people to censor themselves. That's what they're doing. It's like we can't speak freely, we can't share our opinions, and it's just like been a trained thing. I was talking about this the other day um with my kiddo. We were talking about, like, she was watching something, and anytime you watch somebody, like, it's obvious, like, I'm speaking right now, so this is me talking, this is coming from my mind, and I'm saying it, and so these are, like, obviously my thoughts, coming from my mind. But people nowadays they're so, like, scared to offend people that they don't like to share things, and then when they do, they make sure to say a disclaimer, like, this is a disclaimer, these are my personal opinions, my personal thoughts. And it's like, no, it's no wonder. It's like, yeah, they are your, like, unless you're reading from something else and you're like, oh, according to so and so, but nowadays things are just like flip-flopping around. Everything is like upside down, and people just need to wake up. And there's been a confusion where, like, the wake up is just about, if let people have their own pronouns, and you accept those pronouns, and you just call them by whatever pronoun they want, or you give in, you go into all of these other things. But that's not the part of waking up. Part of waking up is you see like what is actually going on. You see it for what it is. Take care, people. Stay safe and prep up. Prep up. Prep your thinking. Up here, your mind. Que alguien me explique, por favor.
My friends need to be punished.